Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to the finale of our F124 Haas Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back here after 23 races. It all comes down to this here in Abu Dhabi. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from Qatar, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But it's pretty simple. Today, we can either become a 3-time Formula 1 World Champion inside F124, or Oscar Piastri can claim his second back-to-back championship with Ferrari there. We have a 13-point lead as we head into this weekend, so as long as we pick up a trophy, it's done. It's over. Oscar Piastri can't do anything about it. We could even technically finish P4 if he won, with neither of us claiming fastest lap, because I believe we have more wins on countback. Oscar has 4 so far this year. We have 7 wins in this campaign, or 8 wins even that might be. Yeah, 8 wins, sorry, to Oscar's 4 so far this year. So that gives us something a little bit extra helpful. Of course, last year, Oscar obviously won the World Championship on countback by having more wins than myself. Of course, over the course of the campaign, he had 4 wins to my 3 in Season 6. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that we can rewrite the wrongs of the last campaign here. Of course, McLaren as well, they need a 1-2 this weekend if they want to try and wrap up the Constructors' Championship as well. We could theoretically lose both world titles if we fail to score more than 2 points as a team. McLaren bagged a 1-2 and Oscar Piastri finished 3rd, but more than likely we're at least going to wrap up one of the world titles here today. Of course, a massive thank you to everybody for all the support throughout F124. It's been a rather topsy-turvy game, but I think on the whole, there's been some very, very enjoyable moments from this game as well. And of course, yeah, looking forward to F125 coming out very, very soon as well. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're still trying to hit 140,000 subs. And also, if you want to help support us just a little bit more, click that join button. You'll get early access to all the videos, as well as a few other little perks and bits and pieces as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head here to Abu Dhabi, and hopefully we can come back a world champion.
Welcome to qualifying. It is time to have some laps at the limit in Abu Dhabi.
Well, I'm sure when F125 releases, we will go back to a normal qualifying format for quite a while. But yeah, I must admit, the one-shot qualifyings we've done in F124, I think have worked quite well in the end. They've kind of made a lot of races a bit more interesting, at least at the start. And, you know, you could argue probably have affected the World Championship in many, many ways over the course of this season. But this weekend, though, I'm not convinced about this Haas car, I'll be honest. It doesn't feel fantastic, at least in free practice. But of course, as the sun goes down, the temperature drops, the grip level rises. Hopefully this thing is going to come alive there as Oscar Piastri. He just needs to try and dominate this weekend. He knows that we are, you know, the one in control right now. So, that's not good though. Not in control on the brakes down in towards the hairpin. And immediately leave us on the back foot there. We drop from 2nd down to 19th place through that chicane on the live timing there, so that was very disappointing. As we make our way then up in towards Sector 3, we're going to try and be really, really brave on the entry to the hairpin, try and get on that throttle as early as we can, and it looks like we've recovered a lot of those places pretty quickly. So unless we're starting towards the front, that's all I'm really interested in around this venue. So we try and throw the car under the hotel. Tried to run a fair bit of downforce here, so we got a bit more stability through that final sector, and it does seem to be working for us. One more corner to go there, and absolutely send it through. We've recovered very, very well. We will line up 3rd here. That's all we need. Well, there we go. Despite the error down at the end of Sector 2, we still ended up less than a 10th away from Oscar Piastri in P1 there. So this car, I think, might have a little bit more pace than I gave it credit for. Charles Leclerc in 5th, just ahead of Pierre Gasly. Enzo Fittipaldi down in P7. Let's not forget, even if McLaren bag a 1-2, all we need is a 9th place finish here, and we will still wrap up the Constructors. That would also, therefore, be enough to wrap up the Drivers' title as well. But I don't think McLaren are going to get a 1-2. The big thing I'm scared about is a mechanical failure. I pray to the Formula 1 gods that that doesn't happen.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula 1 season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that has been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit is made up of 3.4 miles of track, featuring 21 corners with 2 very long straights. DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular turns 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Firestarter, Russell, Leclerc, Gasly, Fittipaldi, Teo Porcher, Sargent, Perez, Iwasa, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Behrman, Vesti, Stroll, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Joe, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, this championship is still alive and there's still a chance we can win it, so get out there and bring the title home, come on!
Well, we love that little bit of extra enthusiasm from Mark at the start of this GP, but luckily again, doesn't look like grid penalties are going to screw it up any of your top runners, so we will stay in P3 for the start of this one. Lando Norris between your two championship protagonists, 5 red lights here on the grid. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go for the final race of the year there as Lando Norris, initially got off to a very good start, but will immediately tuck back in behind Oscar Piastri. We will try and have a look around the outside of the McLaren man in towards Sermon. Not quite able to find the grip there as Logan Sargent up into P5 straight off the start. So a very, very good start for the American as down in towards the hairpin. Whoa! Lando actually braking earlier than I was expecting there. We'll try to avoid him and Oscar Piastri through that corner. And once again, like we've seen Oscar do so many times before, he'll just try and immediately break away at the front of the order as Lando Norris coming back at me. Both McLarens coming back at me. Of course, reminiscent of that Season 5 championship decider, wasn't it, here between myself and both of their cars. Oh, we're 3 wide. And we do actually get a little bit caught out over the curbing there, having to try and avoid damage early on as best as possible. And, well, that has worked out fantastically for Oscar Piastri there. Logan Sargent now trying to look around the outside. We'll try and keep the car to the inside of him. But, of course, all these guys know we have got so much to lose and very little to gain in this race early on. So we have definitely got to try and stay out of trouble as well there as McLaren now lining up in formation behind, of course, McLaren's former driver inside this game. So many times in this series where McLaren offered us a good contract and things like that. After we went to Ferrari, after we went to Mercedes again, they were interested in our services, but I think obviously once I won that title with Ferrari, you know, I wanted to try and change it up a bit. I genuinely, even to this day, was never expecting to win that first season with Mercedes. Just, it was a season of who will make the least mistakes, and we absolutely were able to maximise that car on most weekends, as well as a little bit of a luck in a few places as well. But I knew as soon as we'd done that, I wanted to try and go back to Haas. You know, the only team that I'd raced with on this game that I haven't won a championship with, and maybe tonight can finally be that night there as Russell goes around the outside of Lando Norris there. A little bit of squabbling between the two McLaren cars. I think there was a bit of dust and dirt getting kicked up from behind him there as Lando immediately will try and return the favour back around the outside of George Russell in towards the hairpin. And those two then exactly as they started this lap as well. But if things would win right now, Oscar Piastri would actually be world champion, courtesy of his fastest lap. Here we go again. Russell and Norris, they're clearly putting on a show early on tonight. They are definitely slowing each other down in the process there as we just keep locking up that inside wheel in towards the first part of chicane there. And it's really upsetting the balance of the car on the exit. But now we might be able to get a mega run on both McLaren drivers. Their gap opens up as I think Russell and Norris, too worried about each other there as Norris around the outside will swoop past both of us as we went 3 wide into that corner. That was a very, very brave move by the McLaren to have the confidence to know that we were not going to be kind of out-braking ourselves on the way in. But now we are back into championship winning position. Well, of course, I'm not really too worried about Pierre Gasly's race tonight. Constructors' Championship is all but assured to us, so we are just going to pit whatever Oscar Piastri does. If he stays out, we will stay out. As soon as he opts to box, that is going to be when we make the call there. Is trying to get a run around the outside of Lando Norris yet again. Well, Problem is, though, we cannot outbrake him into this corner there, and you just see the AI. Oh, come on. Really just trip over each other there, as I think we both kind of did a bit of a you first, no, you first, through the corner, and immediately Oscar Piastri will just get a few tenths of a second back in the pocket. Said it is just small margins, but they really do add up. This game, more than I think any other we've ever had in the F1 franchise, is all down to small margins. Ultimately, it has made it quite boring on occasion. It's definitely something I hope they've reworked for F1 25. Is kind of the DRS trains and kind of the complete over-dependence on kind of that mechanic. But are we going to see Oscar in? No, we're not. So we will stay out another lap. Oh, there we go, Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri is into the pit lane then here. So we will follow him in then, make sure we get the car slowed down, which we just about will. But yeah, you go Russell behind us diving in as well. So Lando Norris is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. As yeah, Oscar definitely going to get held up just a little bit here. Come on, team. We need a good stop. Our World Championship is on the line.
Okay, let's go now.
That wasn't bad. I thought it was going to be worse, honestly.
Faster than we were expecting. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
What on earth was that? Just the front end refused to grip up. That is really bad. That is really bad for our championship hopes now. And we've picked up front wing damage. No. I mean, what can we do? We can't really stay out there with it. I mean, it's impossible. What's going on with the brakes? We've lost the entire wing. We've got a VSC. Well, I've worked out what it was. It was my throttle sticking as we went in towards, well, as we came out of the pit lane then. So I don't know whether that was a hardware issue or what was happening. But basically, it just meant there that even when I was fully on the brakes, we still had some throttle in the car. So as the VSC ends now, we've got to dive back into the pit lane here, and this might be a huge blow for our World Championship. But I think what it has also allowed is a load of other cars to pit and obviously claim a free stop. So very weird. Oscar Piastri down into 9th place here, as we got a load of other cars into the pit lane as well. I've got no idea what's happening inside this race right now. Things have got very peculiar very quickly, but I've got no idea what's kind of going on with your front runners and everything like that. But that VSC might have kind of won us this race in the weirdest way possible there, as Fred Vesti and his Sauber are getting out ahead of me.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not a braking issue. Like I said, it was just the throttle was like half open when I was on the brakes there. You can go back and watch it in the telemetry. But very weird then. And, well, now we're going to have to try and keep one eye on Oscar Piastri throughout the rest of this race. But our win is certainly gone. And we might end up potentially winning this World Championship with like a P14 finish. How weird is this? I've never had that issue inside this game. But it might have just turned this championship right on its head. As around the outside of Fred Vesti, we'll try and go pretty quickly. Will we be able to get the move done? We've definitely got... I think it's been doing it since the start of the race. Because suddenly that chicane is far easier to hit the brakes for. I think we've had that throttle problem since lap 1. It just has suddenly got worse. I'll do a quick double check. Like I said, I'm 99% certain it is going to be... No! It's Oscar leading! How on earth is Oscar out in front then? I have no idea how that's happened, but... we might lose this World Championship then. We need like a safety car or something late on. But a hardware issue might have cost us. All over the back then of Fernando Alonso and Zhou Guanyu. We are still the fastest car on circuit right now, as Zhou will really try and defend from us. We actually nudge the wall as we try and go 3 wide in towards the next corner there. So yeah, Zhou really, you know, final race. Maybe wants to give it absolutely everything he can there, remind everybody what he's capable of. But I was adamant it was Fittipaldi leading this race, but I think the team are adamant it's Oscar Piastri then. The front of the order there. Obviously, we don't get any kind of measurement on him because he's not technically a rival in this game or anything like that. So really stupid. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be no way we get back, you know, towards the top 3 here or anything like that. All I've got to hope for that it is Fittipaldi and that maybe we can get back to the points. Oh, I mean, what on earth is Lance Stroll doing, man? Completely braking in the wrong place there, and I've got no idea how we kept that out of the wall. Don't even know if we claimed some DRS. Yes, we have, luckily.
We lost the position. Try to keep focus.
I mean, I'm honestly impressed we didn't crash there, to be completely honest with you all. But we need to try and get past Lewis and Lance then to make our way down the first of the back straights. But I cannot believe we're going to get screwed over by, you know, a hardware issue in this race, man. You guys know me, though. What happens, happens. This is what racing is all about. Sometimes it all goes away from you, but maybe, just maybe, we can try and recover it there as we're on the outside of Lance as well. With a P14, it's still nowhere near good enough. But at this point of the race, I'm kind of there going, give me a mechanical failure F124, or at least put me out of my misery before it's too late. But I just cannot get over that. This is going to be the way our World Championship run ends inside this title, and we are forever cursed in trying to win a World Championship with Haas inside this title as well there as we round our way through the final few corners, trying to close in on Esteban Ocon. I mean, we're not even going to score points here at the rate we're going right now. I mean, like I said, the only hope I had was that Russell could maybe close in on Oscar, and then we could try and recover up and finish in, like, P7, I believe we would need, wouldn't we, to get the points we need, or even P8, obviously, because we've got the fastest lap. But I'm still, I genuinely don't understand how he's so far ahead, but he must be, because obviously there's no way Fittipaldi undercut both McLarens in this Grand Prix. I mean, we're just going to give it our all to the checkered flag. 4 more laps to go after this one. Finally in the DRS of Esteban Ocon here, but I think pretty much every tyre is overheating now on this car as Ocon wants to try and go defensive in towards the next chicane. Should be able to get the run on the exit now, and it's so much easier to get the power down when the throttle isn't sticking. Who knew that would ever be the case inside F124 as well? But round the outside of Esteban Ocon up into 12th, but it's still, yeah, nowhere near what we need. Oh my lord, what is going on?
I gotta end this. I'm telling you, this is all I can take. Somebody please put me out of my misery.
Esteban, stop driving into me, please, sir. Trying to just turn the thing around again. Oh, great. I mean, this just goes from 10-second penalty.
It's going to cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race.
I'm so done with this, man. Honestly, we're going to get to the checkered flag. We've always got to, but that is such a disaster. I mean, what can we do? What can we do at this stage? There's just nothing left. Unless Oscar Piastri gets a mechanical failure in, well, basically, what, this lap or next lap? Which I don't think we're going to see happen, because that Ferrari team has, you know, been more reliable than us down at Haas all season long up to this point. I mean, we're going to go a lap down, I think, at this rate. As we'll bolt on a set of the soft compound tyres. Get the new wing onto the wagon as well. Yep, of course we did. Of course we did. At least the penalty's been wiped out as well. But there goes Oscar Piastri back in towards turn 1. We might be able to try and get back around him and try and claim a fastest lap of the day. Well, we've already got the fastest lap of the day, but 40 seconds behind anybody else, man. The rear tyres have been completely cooked. There was nothing we could do about those late on, but flawless reliability so far in this evening's race. I mean, how much grip there is on those soft compound tyres. I refuse to finish this race a lap down, as the only other thing I will say there, and unless by some miracle the game has got those Ferrari cars built up, which I don't think has happened. It looks like Gasly as well. He's going to have completely fallen apart late on in this race. Luckily, McLaren, it won't be enough for them in the Constructors' Championship, because of course they needed a 1-2 here if they wanted to try and bag that one as well. But oh man, this is so painful. I can't believe the second game in a row where in the very last race, you know, the fairy tale ending is not going to go our way. I think it is going to go the way of Oscar Piastri here, pretty much, unless he has a mechanical failure around about now. So I'll try and have a look past Russell as well. That's not happening for us. Can we have a look in towards the final corner? Yes, we can. There we go. So we'll go try and chase down Oscar Piastri as well then, with 2 more laps to go here from Abu Dhabi. Purple final sector, I guess that's a small solace at this stage of the season. Like I say, I'm just still in disbelief that he had such an advantage after the virtual safety car. That's the bit that's thrown me off so much. from this race as well. And like I said, how did I not notice what was going on with it? But, you know, that's racing sometimes, and technical hiccups are absolutely going to cost us here. You know, I think that sums up this game, doesn't it? Had the potential to be so good, but fundamental problems ultimately limited it in a way that we never wanted to see. But Oscar Piastri, though, he is definitely leading this race with barely 1 lap to go. We are going to see a last lap battle between us, but it is completely in the wrong context, as we are a lap down still. I want to just get back to him. Like I said, I don't think, you know, we're certainly not going to see him get a mechanical failure now, are we? Imagine if he started slowing down now. If something went wrong in that Ferrari car that just gave us any kind of chance. But you got to say, you know, credit to him as well. He gets the job done. 2 world championships to his name with Ferrari. The most successful Ferrari driver, therefore, inside this career mode as well. Obviously, Leclerc and I only managed 1 apiece when we were at the team. But 1 more lap to go then for Oscar, as he is about to claim his 2nd world championship in a row. Round the outside, we'll still go back down to turn 1. But, yeah, Oscar, he doesn't need to risk it here, does he? He knows it is his, and that he has done everything he needed to this season. Did admittedly get a little bit lucky with some mechanical issues this year. We had, what, 5 mechanical failures to his 3, I want to say, and especially races like Brazil, where, you know, he had a mechanical failure quite early on. I thought we were good, and then we had a mechanical failure late on in the day. Cota as well. Obviously, we had another one there, but, you know, that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes in Formula 1. Sometimes that RNG gives you a chance. Other times, it takes away any opportunity you thought you had inside F1 24. But, as I said, you know, this is what happens sometimes. It doesn't always run perfectly. There is no script in this game, or at least not on this channel anyway. You know, what happens is what happens, and ultimately this season, again, it is going to slip through Haas's fingers right at the bitter end there. At least on the one hand, we'll have the World Constructors Trophy as well, and all the prize money that comes with it. But through the final corner, Oscar Piastri, he is going to be a 2-time Formula 1 World Champion with Ferrari there. Back-to-back, 2 seasons in a row, he has come from behind here in Abu Dhabi to walk away victorious and with the crown there. George Russell will come through for P2, but of course, because of Oscar's win, it guarantees that we are Constructors Champions, like I said there, and, well, he will go out and celebrate, and I'm sure he will be partying tonight again, despite the odds, despite him coming in on the back foot. Just bad luck for others, bad luck for other drivers has given Oscar Piastri a 2nd world championship. But I think when you look up and down this grid, you had to pick someone to win a world championship because of others' bad luck. Probably would be him, wouldn't it, the Australian there. But through the final few corners then of the season, of course, if you still want a little bit more F1 24 content from me, Matt 2 and 2 gameplay, the Salvaging Sauber career mode has still got a few races to go as well. So go check that one out. But I just am so gutted with this, man. But that's racing. It doesn't always go your way, and so painful when it doesn't. Through the final corners here in Abu Dhabi, last P20. No mechanical failures tonight. That is our Haas dreams over.
Oh, mate, heartbreaking stuff. That was such a good effort. Look, we might have just about missed out on the championship, but it's been a brilliant season. You've done a fantastic job. I have loved the whole thing from start to finish, and next year we've got the chance to go one better.
And with that, another year of Formula 1 draws to a close, and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. What a superb drive from Oscar Piastri, who takes the checkered flag. Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, there we are then. Oscar Piastri for the second year in a row. A must-win situation in the season finale. And he just doesn't crack under pressure, does he, that young man? George Russell in P2 ahead of Lando Norris there. A valiant effort by McLaren all year, but it is not quite enough when all is said and done. Charles Leclerc in 4th ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi. Sargent, Perez, Owasa, Pourchaire, and Gasly absolutely fell apart there. The whole team basically fell apart over those last few laps as well. Gasly was running like P5. But I don't know what happened to him, but seemed to slow down there. Oh, man, it's so painful. So painful, because, like I said, on the one hand, I refuse to script the races. I refuse to kind of try and manufacture results or races and things like that. On the other hand, it's so painful when it goes away from us. And like I said, if I'd made a mistake originally that had caused it, you're kind of there going, fair enough. But the fact, like I said, it was just a throttle stuck issue, which I've never seen inside this game. A quick restart of my wheel, and it was working absolutely fine yet again there. But the pain is real. Oscar Piastri, a 13-point deficit heading into this final race will turn into a 12-point lead as we leave Abu Dhabi. George Russell in 3rd ahead of Leclerc and Norris. Gasly does hang on for a 6th place finish overall ahead of Fernando Alonso. Fittipaldi, Hamilton, and Teo Pourchaire, they're running at top 10. Teo just missed out on cracking 100 points this year. Sargent did get the better of Sergio Perez in what was a very weird Red Bull team this year. Ahead of both V-Cubs there. Behrman harrying Williams in P15 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda there. Esteban Ocon 6 points to his name. Fred Vesti with those 2 obviously in Vegas. And just Stroll and Zhou that failed to score. Luckily, we do claim the Constructors' Championship by just 9 points over McLaren in the end. Ferrari in P3 ahead of Mercedes. Aston Martin ahead of Red Bull. V-Carb, Alpine, Williams. And yeah, every team scored points this year, which I guess we can be happy with. There's probably going to be a little lack of content on the channel over the next few days, obviously on the run-up to F1 25. A massive thank you, though, to all of you for the continued support. F1 25, I hope, is going to be a really big game for us here. But yeah, hopefully we can put F1 24 behind once and for all. And we maybe on F1 25, we're going to win a World Championship with Haas.